Hey, what's up, guys? It's that time of year again, and I don't mean autumn, which is important in Texas because now it's no longer 98 degrees, it's just 80 degrees. So at least I can wear this vaguely autumn-themed button-up. No, it is when the new legal trends report releases from Clio. So a couple weeks ago at ClioCon, they released the new edition of the legal trends report. I'm a big fan of this report for lots of reasons, one of which we'll cover. But it's packed with all kinds of things like benchmarking for your firms, earnings, rates, collection rates, productivity rates. It's just really good for firms of any stripe to be viewing every single year. They debut it every time at ClioCon. So it came out just a couple weeks ago. But the reason that it's near and dear to my heart, which you'll realize in a second, is that 2 years ago in the 2023 edition, they released a term called lockup. So I wanted to talk to you today about what is lockup, what does it mean for your firm, and lockup is, in short, how long it takes you to get paid for your work. So pretty important. A lot of firms measure their collection rates, but most firms that I know and talk to aren't measuring how long it's taking them to get paid for that work. So there's some really important stats in this new report, but I wanted to break down lockup because it really is not just the total time that it takes you to get paid for your work, it's broken up into two important pieces, one of which is called realization lockup, also known as work in progress lockup. So that's really how long is it taking us to get the bills out the door after we do the work, right? So that's one piece. The other side, which will be pretty clear why I care, is called collections lockup. So how long from there until we get paid for our work. So Clio has done a great job over there in the last couple of years in naming this issue. If you come from corporate or other big businesses, you may have heard of the term DSO, Days Sales Outstanding. It's similar, but they've really done an amazing job at bringing this stat, or the spirit of that stat, to law firms so we can really break that into its important pieces and really give us a new stat to measure how long is it taking for us to get paid for our work. So I want to talk about those things: realization lockup, collections lockup, and then total lockup. So check out the report, but the resounding news is not great. Total lockup right now on average is 93 days. So what does that mean? From the work you're doing right now at the end of the year here, you're not going to see a dollar from that for 93 days on average. So some firms are doing better, some firms are doing worse than that. And that means a full quarter is going to go by before we see a penny from the work that we're doing right now, busting our butts on. So that's not okay. But then when we break it into those two parts, what's interesting is we see that there's a trend here. And we'll talk about how the stats have trended over time. Realization lockup came in at an average of 32 days. So a little over a month to get those bills out the door. All the folks that have been talking to me, sometimes it takes much longer than that, or it's inconsistent, right? So it's super important that we get that down to a science. Tools like Clio are making this easier than ever before, but it is something that is getting better over time. It is trending down, which is good in the name of lockup. And that's really squarely based on tools like Clio, other great efficiency tools built in. For instance, little shout out to our friends at Tempello, who help you find billable hours in your email that you might not have billed for, get those approved and out the door more quickly. And then, on the collections lockup side, unfortunately, industry-wide, that's trending upwards. It's 43 days right now. So that means from the time we get the bill out the door, 43 days on average until we're seeing our money. Now, again, that's the average. Check out the stats. That's trending up over time. I think as the economy gets a little bit trickier, that number always goes up. We've been around a long time. We've seen the ebbs and flows of this, but trending upwards is no surprise, but it's something that firms really need to have a handle on before the end of the year so we can hit 2026 really hard. So average of 43 days on that. Total lockup is calculated a bit differently. I know 32 plus 43 does not equal 93. But at the end of the day, when we can consider all of the factors, firms are seeing an average of 93 days until they're getting paid for their work. So not okay with us, but kudos to the team at Clio for publishing this data every single year so we can all keep an eye on it. And I think the question is, are we measuring just collection rates overall and thinking we're doing okay? Or are we actually looking at the time it takes us to get paid for our work? Let me know in the comments. And as always, we'll be here to help.